Hey, what's up everybody? You're watching Tough Customs Garage YouTube channel. And this week we're going to be working on digging footings. Already started last night. As you can see, I got stuff marked off. I borrowed my neighbor's mini excavator, and it's got a side shift boom or side shift stick, and so it's pretty perfect for digging footings. I'm not great at it, but by the time I got as far as you see the machine, I've gotten a little better. My lines are getting a little straighter. When I first started out, I could barely follow the line because I couldn't get a good reference point to dig straight. But this little section right here, it turned out pretty good, pretty straight. That was just trying to follow the spray paint, but as you dig, the spray paint gets jacked up because obviously you're rolling some dirt back the whole time. So I've only got to finish that little bit. I got a little notch right there that I got to try to put in. But going from the big giant Cat 225 to the Hitachi, I think it's a 30. Not sure what the letter is on it, but pretty small. But man, that thing is super nice. And really, this would probably come in handy a lot more than that machine very soon. If you can do anything with a little machine like that, you can trench water, power, and not make a huge mess. You don't need to dig, I don't know what that other bucket is, 42 inches or something wide. So the little small bucket on this one works perfect. Anyway, let's check it out. So the alternator doesn't work on this machine. I've borrowed this thing a few times. He literally just lives right through the woods. If I could make a trail through the woods, I could just not get on the road and get to his house. But the alternator hadn't worked on this thing in years, but since it's an old mechanical machine, it really is just pulling in a fuel solenoid, so it doesn't really need much. So I had a trickle charger on it, well, 2 amp charge on it last night, just to make it where it didn't shut off on me today. So I made this little rig for marking out all of my footings. It's just really going to help me have a good outline to follow. So basically, I had a string line that I would line up with these two squares. And then this side is my French drain. And then basically from about right there over this way is the actual footing. So I'm partially earth forming the footing. So basically 2 feet here is going to be formed in concrete, and then 1 additional foot is going to be French drain, kind of built into the footing. So to keep from excavating all this dirt out all the way to the bottom of the footing, I am going to do half earth form and half, well, about 12 inches of earth form, and then another 6 inches of wood form will come up above the dirt here. And I think it'll work. It's just going to save me from taking out all this dirt. So another 12 inches across the whole plane of the job. So my buddy let me borrow his T770. It's got a problem with it, if you can believe that. It's got a swash plate error, swash plate sensor code. So basically you run the machine for, I don't know, 20 minutes the first time, and then it shuts down. And after that, you can fire it right back up, run 60 seconds, shuts down again. So if I can fix the machine, I can use it. And I mean, it's an easy fix. All you got to do is pull the motor out and take the hydraulic stack off of it and completely take it apart to replace a tiny little bushing that looks like you cut an ink pen in half and just used a little plastic outside tube. That's what's wrong with this machine, supposedly. I'm still working on making sure before I pull the engine. But if I can get it fixed, I'll use it, and it would sure come in handy moving all this dirt. I got a whole bunch of dirt from the footing back there that would really be nice to move it quickly with a skid steer. So I guess that's on the list. We'll get to it eventually. So I've got the cab up on this thing, and the swash plate sensors plug in, let's see, right down there. And there's 3 different plugs, and the 2 smaller ones, you can actually unplug those and the machine will still operate. They say it gives you 50% of your actual speed, but when I did it the other day, it is absolutely creeping, so it was pretty tough to use. I plugged those things back in, and I'm gonna disconnect the battery to see if that'll by chance give me a 20-minute run again, because if I could do that, I could make some pretty good headway and scoop up those dogs and move them out of the way. This week, finally got the light tower finished up. I'll show you a walk around of everything that we did, and I'm going to do a test hit on this thing tonight. I'm hoping it's really bright, but if nothing else, it produces power, and that's kind of what we were really hoping for. But I got some cheap LED fixtures and got them all mounted up with some tabs. I made some mounting tabs to be able to store the lights inside. The only thing I really need to finish up is the actual waterproof covers over the outlets. I was gonna wire everything in and just make it where it was all wired in solid. But since the LEDs are cheapos, I figured I would make some outlets up top, and that way, if they do burn up or go bad, I can just order some more and put some more fixtures on it. So check it out. So I got all the rear portion cut out where it goes around the muffler and the radiator just protrudes out. I'm still hoping to get some conveyor belt, and I'm going to put a little flap across there just to kind of shed that water away. You can see the little mounting tabs that I made for the lights. I actually had to make these as well, because I had these were factory, but there were only 2 fixtures on this thing, and I made it where you could mount 4 fixtures total, but I didn't have any of the little holders, so I made those deals on the plasma table. But so if you watch the other video on this light tower, I needed to make an internal frame to give the top portion some support, because when you use a forklift here, this back portion needs to be immobilized. So this is a lock. Basically move that in and out to be able to lift and lower the actual mass on the tower. But I made this little bracket here, so this unpins and your handle lays in there. So I made that bracket, and then also I had to remake this. I don't know where the actual handle went, but that same pin will drop in here. So you can use your handle to crank this thing up. Let's see if I unlocked it. All right, let's see if this is high enough to keep this thing in the frame. So this little locking pin has to move down in order for this to pivot. Kind of learned that the hard way. I couldn't figure it out. Not bad. I don't know if that stayed in frame or not, but I'm excited to see what it looks like tonight. Oh, El Cheapo Amazon special LEDs. We'll see what they're made out of. Nothing else is going to make some power. So that's kind of what we were hoping for anyway. Almost stayed in there. Need to back the camera up a little bit, I guess. I think I'm pretty happy with it though. It'll be really nice to pull it up to the house if the power goes out. The power probably won't go out for, 10 years now that I have this. But plug this bad boy in and just go back to eating your ice cream on the couch. All right, let's see what we got here. say I'm pretty happy with that. I took it to the back side of the shop where this street light wouldn't affect it. Pretty good, pretty good. Probably gonna use it a little bit on the house for some early concrete pours and some other junk. Maybe even some late night trying to get things finished. So, pretty pleased with that. Look at this junk right here. Mercedes full of scrap parts, but we still need to get some more parts off of it. So we had to get it in the shop. It's got a good transmission in it, so we got to get that. All right, everybody, that's all for this video. I'll see you next time.